Thank you very much for listening in and or downloading this featured content podcast. Here in the studio, we have the wonderful Anita Champaneri, who is basically the person to go to find out anything about food and drink in the Solihull, Birmingham, and basically in our area. So welcome, Anita. Thank you very much for joining us. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad today. I'm very much looking forward to finding out all about everything food and drink in our local area, partly because A, I like food, B, I like drinks.
Doesn't everyone?
So this is going to be the podcast for you if you want to find out where the deals are, what's opening, what's new, what's happening in our area, where can we go and get some really nice different types of food, and any little stories about food and entertainment.
Well, it's last few days of January, so I think it'd be a really good opportunity to make the most of those last-minute offers that all these restaurants seem to be putting on. You can get 50% off food practically everywhere this month.
Right, come on, tell me more.
There's a Luna Cocktail Bar in the mailbox, which do a great dim sum menu and a lot of South Asian-inspired dishes. All the dishes look beautifully presented. It's very high-end Oriental food, really tasty and hot and spicy.
Right.
So they've got 50% off at the end of the month if you pre-book. So have a look out for them on Instagram at Luna UK.
Help me out. Whereabouts in the mailbox there? Because we go up those.
Go up the escalators, out the back, past the BBC, and just by the canal. It's on the lower level of the canal.
I know it.
A lot of the places in the mailbox are doing 50% off, but the pizza place as well.
Wow.
Marco Pierre White's, I'm pretty sure, have got an offer on.
Is that in the Cube bit?
That's the top end of the Cube.
Yep.
You've got Rodizio Rico around there, Penny Blacks. Even the big chains are capitalising on that, but I'm all about supporting the independents. So if you want to go out for a good meal, support those independent restaurants that are, trying to fight against the big boys.
Agreed. And just while we're on that topic, if you are, listener, ever in that Gas Street Basin area, walk a little way along and halfway down there's a very, very unassuming door which takes you upstairs into an amazing gin bar.
Oh, yes, I've seen that door.
And it's an amazing gin bar. And it looks like a door to nowhere. And you just wander around and you go upstairs into this place and it is fantastic.
Is it a door to gin heaven,
in my mind, it is. But for my two penneth on our food and drink podcast here, if you are a big gin fan, which gin, by the way, seems to have had a major resurgence over the last 12 months.
Massive one.
And you're thinking all these different gin places. Here in Touchwood, for instance, down by the studios, there's gin concessions down in the main mall. And they're just doing really well. I
know, I was never a big gin fan, but I have been converted this past year. So there's so many different ones to try. And it's actually, I think, the reason many people don't like gin is they put the wrong tonic in it or use really rubbish tonic water. But if you know how to make a proper gin, what to put in it... Halfway
along the Gas Street Basin, you go up there and there are some amazing gins. I'm a big slow gin fan.
Oh, okay.
So, that's my two penneth for the food and drink podcast today, listener.
Funnily enough, if you go down Gas Street Basin, there's a new bar that's just opened before Christmas called 52 Gas Street. Okay. So where the old Bobby Brown's is, they've refurbed all the bottom area, and it's a very nice, cosy pub. So look out for an official launch this month. Okay. The upstairs used to be a club, and I'll presume that will probably happen later on in the summer, but that's another new addition around there.
So we've got some, just to go back, 50% off some dim sum style menus over in the mailbox. Where else can we go? Anywhere a little bit more sort of locally round to...
A lot of the big hotels are doing it as well.
I've seen that.
Like Hotel de Van and Malmaison. They've got some really good offers in their bistro menu. So very good value for money if you want to splash out and take someone special.
And I must also say that the Crown Plaza just opposite Touchwood are doing heavily discounted food menus as well. So if you just want to wander across the road here from Touchwood, you can always wander into Crown Plaza and get some food there.
And Carluccio's is another favourite for me and my family. They've got good deals going on just outside.
Right. So it's all happening, isn't it? All happening. So that's our deals.
That's our deals.
Our deals to be. And of course, if you are a member of the bid and you or you work here in Central Solihull and you have a bid card, why don't you use your bid card to get your discounted food and drink prices as well?
Cool. there's a brilliant new event to round off the end of the month. New Year, New Wines by Solihull Wine Club, hosted by Tony and Lucy Elvin. They have that every month at the Village Hotel. And this is the second one that they're doing. It's a very small, intimate gathering. There's only about 10 to 15 people there. All sit around a nice table. We laugh and drink wine. It's very, very
excellent.
Decadent sounding,
and
but informative.
I must say, Tony is the most amazing sommelier I've ever had the pleasure of listening to.
He's brilliant.
He knows exactly what you need to know, and his enthusiasm brings the wines across. I happen to know that this month is all about the Spanish wines, and it's in brackets, not just Rioja. So if you are interested in the different regions of Spanish wines, for instance, and for me, Rioja is a little bit too big. I'm a much more of a Malbec fan, and Tony and I have had discussions about my Malbec versus Rioja preferences, but he is going to be talking a lot about different Spanish wines, and like you say, you don't always have to think Spanish wine, Rioja. So get over there, get yourself down there and listen to what Tony has to say about the different regions of Spain, because you will enjoy the evening. When is that? That's Wednesday evening.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock at the Village. And what is it, 15 pounds?
£15. And really good value, because you get to try about 5 or 6 glasses of wine, and it's not the cheap stuff. It's not your £3 bottle.
I wouldn't have thought that with Tony.
No. So, really good bottles of wine that you can taste for an absolute bargain. And it's about, learning where they're from and about the climate that affects them and different wines from different regions.
Different
so very,
grapes.
very informative and, really good fun as well.
Nice.
So hopefully you'll come away learning more than vino tinto, por favor.
Oh, very good. Very impressive. The other thing is that's a monthly event, isn't it?
It is.
So moving through the year at the Village Hotel, you can experience for a relatively small amount of money. £15 wouldn't buy you a bottle in some restaurants, would it?
In quite a lot of restaurants,
so,
more than the house wine.
So, a standard house wine, but you can actually go and learn a little bit from a very knowledgeable sommelier.
Tony spent like 6 years at Hotel de Van, so he's hosted many a wine dinner. So it just impresses me how he retains all that information. And his wife Lucy, she's also studying her wine certificate, so she's catching him up fast.
Excellent stuff. All right, so that's the wines style. We've talked about the gins. We've talked about the wines.
And now let's talk about rum.
Rum. Tell me more about rum.
Well, the Birmingham Rum Festival is back for this summer. It's the 4th year in a row. They're launching their tickets, their early bird tickets this week, so do follow them at Birmingham Rum Festival. The dates they're looking at are the 29th and the 30th of June, and it's going to be at the Cuban Embassy in Moseley Village.
Yep.
They've got lots of new rum brands have arrived, lots of seasoned classics you get to try, but the beauty of that event, they've got 4 or 5 sessions over the whole weekend, and it's about learning, tasting and enjoying. It's not about trying as many different rums as you can, even though they stock about 120 of them at the Cuban Embassy. But, like growing up in Birmingham or in the Midlands, people are not great aficionados of what the best rum is and probably have stuck to a couple all their life. But now we've got so many choice, so many different brands that you can try, and it's just a really great opportunity to experience some new.
I'm going to make
wines.
a confession now, Anita.
That you've never had rum?
No.
Oh,
my one confession that I will make: the rum of choice, Malibu.
Well, that's like a rite of passage, isn't it?
It is.
Malibu
I start
rum
there.
As a teenager or university, but
how many times have I walked in and said a Malibu and pineapple, please?
And we thought we were all so sophisticated then, didn't we?
We did. But Malibu and pineapple, you can drink it all night, and
not anymore.
Not anymore. No.
Give that up, Jeff.
Okay, will do.
So
Sorry
put the date in your diary.
End of June.
End of June. Great opportunity to fill your boots with street food as well, and lots of live Latin and reggaeton and salsa. I didn't know this, but they had their 2 outside bits at the Cuban Embassy. I've only ever been in the front bit in the winter months, so I never really realised.
Yep.
But I think it's going to be a brilliant carnival atmosphere. And for people who've gone to Moseley Dance Festival in the summer, they'll know how busy it can get, and that amount of people that kind of love that kind of street festival vibe. So
street food.
Really,
street
really
food's a massive thing at the moment as well, isn't it? We've had it here in Touchwood.
Yep, street eats has proved really popular.
Yeah.
And I, love the teepee in the back just outside the library. So it's a really nice setup. So that'll be really good when it comes back for the summer. But some nice street food pop-ups. Yeah, I think people maybe have got a bit bored of all the big chains taking over. So to get something a bit more authentic, a bit more homemade. Also, going to go down a treat.
We're also seeing a much more sort of what's the word, where we go through, and people don't necessarily want to sit down at a table. They just want to grab something, move on, get back into what they're doing.
People like to get their fingers sticky.
Yeah, and just go for it, and then straight through. So you don't have to set aside an hour to be waited on at a table, let's say, for a lunch, when you just basically want
I also
that quick
think
thing.
about not so much, but you can try lots of different things. So if you're a group of people and one wants Italian, one wants Indian, one wants a dirty burger, you can just go to one of these street food events, and whatever you fancy, you can all have, where they're all agreeing to go to one place and eating one type of cuisine.
Okay, so street eats. The street eats was actually very successful.
I thought it was really good.
Just on the run up towards Christmas and things like that. We were, if you didn't experience the street eats, we had the main TP in Theatre Square, which is in between Touchwood and the core, but which was a lovely bar run by Carlton, I think. Lovely fella.
Carlicious,
yes. Yeah, really lovely fella. And
they had the fish and chips. They had View the Dabba, which was like a Punjabi street food. So you can get your samosas.
We had some pulled pork.
And
Sam from the Urban Gorilla.
Oh yes,
he was excellent, and it's just really good to have that sort of level of choice.
Yes, it's really good that Touchwood are kind of supporting more of those smaller traders as well, so you can come to the centre and go to the chains, go to your independents, and have something quick, fast.
Everyone's choice nowadays, isn't it?
Yep.
Choice.
And speaking of more street food, you've got Jamya opening upstairs by the cinema, which is a new jerk chicken restaurant coming next month.
Okay, so that's in Touchwood, up top of the escalator. By
the way, the old giraffe used to be.
Yeah, that's right. Turn right.
Yeah, so it looks like going to be a lovely space. I was lucky enough to get an exclusive peek at it last week. Going to be really bright, really colourful, lots of nice murals on the floor. They've still got the booth seating. It's going to have about 80 covers, and their thing is about traditional Jamaican burgers, popular Irish sides and craft beers, and they're using the hashtag Eat With Love. So it looks like it'd be a really nice casual dining place, because you can't get decent jerk chicken anywhere, I believe.
Well, the only places that I've had those sort of experiences, we could go out towards Dickens Heath and we could eat at a Canberra.
Oh, God, yes, I haven't been there for a couple of years.
That's definitely worth a go.
The day that I went, it was booked out for a private party, so we didn't get to eat. We just wandered around the gardens.
There, curried goat and chicken and rice and peas and things like that. So very Caribbean and different world sort of foods and things. So you could eat over there, or we could eat here in Touchwood in the centre. What's the sort of turnaround? Is it going to be a quick turnaround? It's
going to be a quick, fast service one. Good. So especially with the cinema next door as well, they've got to turn the tables pretty quick, so people want to come in for a quick bite.
I was going to say, could that be a pre-eat thing?
Definitely
couldn't
a
it?
good pre-eat there.
And you've got a number of different sort of places on that top floor here in Touchwood that you can go pre-eat. Before cinema, or heading over to the core for a show, for instance. Yes.
They've got. Wagamama's is a big favourite, and then you've got Asher's, which is another favourite that will be coming in March as well. But I doubt that will be very quick. I think bring the family, nice big Indian feast would be great.
Do you not think that Asher's are going to have that two-tone approach? So, for instance, I was reading in one of the press releases before launch, obviously because it hasn't launched yet. That they're going to have two different zones. So you're going to have a very quick street eats
area. That was the rumour, but I think it might be subject to change now.
Okay.
I don't know how these things
you
develop.
You hear it first here.
Yes. I think they're playing down that element a bit now, so who knows what they might do. It might all change again, you never know. But I think the Asher's concept is the family special occasion.
It's special occasion and it's high end, isn't it?
Yeah, so you don't associate street eats with them. But if they do that, I'm sure that'd be welcome as well. But who knows until those doors open.
Yeah, sure. And we're talking about 8 weeks' time?
At least 8 weeks away, I would say.
Okay,
yes.
so 8 weeks more till Ashes opens up in Touchwood.
And I think in Solihull, there's not that many places we can get fine dining Indian cuisine. Obviously, you got Tap and Tanda, do great Indian food, but obviously casual, beer.
Street eat style.
Very, very nice. But in terms of a very classy Indian, I'm always drawn into town.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're only 6 miles south, aren't we?
Yes, that's
so
right.
6 miles south of town, and you get the sort of high end of Ashes in in the centre there, isn't it, Colmore?
Right, yeah, right at the bottom on Newhall Street,
That's
not right
right.
in the middle.
Yeah.
But do you know what you just reminded me?
Yeah.
That I should have gone to Pushka and tried their veganuary menu.
Oh, of course. Veganism is a big thing,
There's
isn't it?
loads and loads of places jumping on the veganuary bandwagon.
I tell you,
and
this time last year, there was about 60 vegans in the world, and now... there's. I'd put it.
You can't move.
You can't move for them.
For a vegan dessert, like a calzone at ZZ or Tiger Bites Pig are doing something. Even the Barton Arms. I mean, I can expect to a lot of Indian places because you can have your dal and your vegetable curries and stuff like at Tap and Tandoor. But everywhere from like Frankie and Benny's to Harvester and the bakeries, they're all getting on board. Which it's good that you have to, and actually kind of makes you as a consumer try different things, because my default thing would, a nice masala chicken.
Yeah,
one
standard.
of those places.
Go in.
And when I feel like I've gone out for a meal that I have to have meat, if I've gone away and had a vegetarian, I feel like almost a bit cheated that I've
disappointing.
that I haven't made the most of my night out. But places like Pho in Grand Central, even Pizza Hut. Well, I suppose they do
vegan cheese
pizza.
Yeah.
But yes, vegan cheese. I've never tried that before. But they in the stable just by the mailbox, which is the pizza place and the craft cider place, they do a lovely vegan pizza with, I think it's made out of coconuts.
Yeah.
The cheese it was delightful. I'll never cross my mind to try that.
I've seen a lot more in the vegan style of the coconut and palm coconut things for the substitutes, and you can get those most supermarkets now, can't you?
So only a few days left to try some vegan choices, but I'm sure the popularity of it will carry on.
Well, we can see the popularity in the queues that are around the corner for the Greg's vegan sausage roll.
Did you manage to try one?
I'm going to put my hands up and say no, I haven't tried one yet.
It wasn't something I'd wanted to run out and do.
Well, to be honest, though, they ran out of stock. I read. I read a tweet from the one of the head people at Greg's saying that the stock would be replenished early this week. So they'll be back up to full stock levels and things like that. People are obviously really interested in trying this meat substitute, which. And I was listening to a programme on Radio 4 about this. The chief exec of Greg's came from Marks and Spencer Food Hall.
Oh, okay.
He brought his second-in-command with him to Greg's, and he has always been on changing the output of the Greg's baked goods and things like that into a wider vegan and, different types of food. And he effectively was the lead on creating the vegan sausage roll. So he brought that, and lots of people at Marks and Spencer. He left under persona non grata when he left Marks and Spencer, and when he started at Greg's, he didn't start at the office. He started for a whole month just in a Greg's store.
Okay.
Working out how it all works and what to do and
Undercover boss.
But he just did it. And suddenly, Greg's share price is rocketed, isn't it? On the back of
we never have Greg's being talked about as much as it has been.
But they've got their
PR stunt.
I was going to say they've got their marketing and they've got their point, haven't they? They understand their
have.
customer and what they're going for. And I think there's plenty of queues there at lunchtimes, isn't there?
So once Veganuary ends, we have February. And what's February? The start of Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year.
Yes, that's going to be the Year of the Pig, I believe. February the 5th. Touchwood have already had their lion dancers and their celebrations in the centre on Saturday.
Yep.
I think the official Chinatown ones, not this weekend, but the weekend after.
Yep.
But a brilliant opportunity to go and taste some nice Chinese food. So do you have a particular favourite Because I know I do.
Chinese food for me, and then please don't think anything less of me, Anita. It's standard chicken chow mein, and then those little crispy things. So crispy shredded beef. I just love those.
Oh, or the shredded duck with the
No,
rolls?
crispy. These little crispy shredded beef and some sort of sweet and sour sauce or sweet chili sauce or something like that. I really enjoy it. If you've just joined us here, thank you very much for joining us here on Solihull Radio. We have Anita, who is our food and drink expert. We are talking all things food and drink in Solihull, Birmingham and our surrounding area, where to go, where to find the deals, what's happening, what's coming up, so you can get ready for your planning of going out nights, big meal nights or family celebrations. Like Anita says, it is the Year of the Pig coming up on the 5th of February, and there are some celebrations and big events here in Touchwood in central Solihull. Obviously, if you're going into town and seeing the sort of Chinatown things, there are going to be some big things there. If you want to download this podcast, by all means, it's on our on-demand service, so you can have another listen to what Anita is suggesting for the places to go. Lots of places in central Birmingham as well, so bear all of those things in mind. If you were born in the Year of the Pig, your lucky numbers are 2, 5 and 8, and any numbers containing them, like 25 and 58. So bear all of that in mind.
Do you know when you were born?
Yes, I do, funnily enough.
I mean, you do. Do you know what year you were, what your Chinese New Year zodiac is?
I think I'm the rabbit, so it's not for me. But unlucky things for people born in the Year of the Pig. Unlucky colours. Oh, I'm sorry about this, everybody. Red, blue and green. So that doesn't... here's something amazing. Your unlucky direction, if you were born in the Year of the Pig, is southeast. How do they know that? How on earth do they know that?
And when you buy a house, you have a southeast facing
That's
house.
right.
And
That's right.
you've got to have one of them.
Right. And we'll see. But I'll give you some more things on what's been going on. Right. So if Anita is helping you out, Anita actually runs a company called Delicious PR. So Anita knows exactly what's going on in the food and drink world, especially in our local area, because a lot of her clients in food and drink are in our area. So, there's a finger on the pulse there. So this is Anita from Delicious PR. What's next, Anita?
Well, I just want to say a little bit about Chung Ying. So they used to be my client about 5 years ago. And we did a lot of great parties at the old Chung Ying, which I think is the oldest, well, not I think, I know is the oldest Chinese restaurant in Birmingham. And Chinese, they had Chung Ying Cantonese. That was going for like 35 years. They've opened up Chung Ying Central, which is like a quick dim sum bar. For those of you who don't know what dim sum is, it's all the little dumplings like char siu buns, gyoza, the steamed dumplings. And actually, for a little light bite, they're absolutely brilliant. And for almost like Chinese tapas. So if you go down there, got a brilliant offer. I think it's like 3 tapas for like £10. And it's just the moistness of it, the prawn and chives when they're steamed and pan fried. It's all...
Can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with that, can you?
If you fancy treating yourself out on Chinese New Year around, there's lots of choice, but Chung Ying Central is my favourite. Something a bit more upmarket, you want to maybe go to Henry Wong's in Harborne. Something a bit more casual, we've got Tiger Bites Pig. That's really popular. There's a lot of the bao buns that they do. And then there's a new Asia Hall that's opened just outside Edgbaston.
Mm-hmm.
Not Edgbaston, outside Edgbaston car park where the Debenhams is. They've got a massive kind of a casual bar in there. So looking, anything that you want to take the family to celebrate, that'd be really good. But the place I'm really looking forward to trying out is Tattoo, which is a massive restaurant up in Manchester that's just opened in Birmingham. Actually, it's opening officially on Thursday, but there's been like 2 weeks of soft openings. Lots of people have been trying the 50% off offer in there. But it looks absolutely beautiful, full of neon pink lighting, pink blossom trees. It looks divine. Looks something that could be in high-end Knightsbridge or something.
Sure.
And it's come to Birmingham just by the Grand Hotel, underneath the Grand Hotel, quite near Zen Metro. And Ashers and Purnell. So if you're looking for something really decadent and you really want to impress someone, maybe for Valentine's Day, that might be a good bet there. But it's a beautiful looking restaurant, and from the pictures that I've seen on Instagram, the Chinese food looks amazing. So we're going to be heading down there on Thursday. So on our next show, we shall feedback how wonderful I'm hoping it'll be wonderful. So
excellent. Pink blossom trees reminds me of the tea lounge at Claridge's. They've got pink blossom trees in there.
Very popular, this kind of internal nature thing going on.
Very
so
nice.
Zen have the blossom tree, so does Sabai, but a lot of places. And have you been to Akhtar's place, Lenya, the Italian one there?
Listen, now that I've met you, I'm hoping my email box goes, Jeff, please go and try this place.
I'm sure it will.
The other thing is, quick question to you then. Do you get to go? Obviously, some of these are your clients, so you
have to.
You have to
duress,
go and try some of this so that you can tell other people about it.
Yes,
and that's how it works.
That is how it works. So people. A lot of my restaurant clients, they all become friends because we work with them for so long, and they'll say, "Oh, you haven't come to our place for ages," but you have to prioritise your clients. So there's only so much eating and drinking you could go out before I'm 17 stone or something.
Listen, if you want an assistant,
I'm always on the lookout for good eaters and good writers. So that would help.
I think I'll be all right. I've got a little while to go, but so.
Yes, we've been very, very lucky to get invited to
out.
Lovely places. So last week got invited to Simpsons, which was a real treat, Michelin starred. So that's been going for 25 years. And they had a sort of girls' night in. So it was a whole female chef brigade run by Claire Hutchins was leading the chef, and had been on MasterChef. So they'd all come for one special night. And there was a 6-course dinner, and it was amazing. It all looked exquisite. And you think, how the hell am I going to get through all of that? But, we tried our best, and we did.
Right, now is the time I'm going to tell you the best offer, and this is just for you, listener. Okay, so if you could keep this quite low key, and Anita, I'm going to build this up for you as well. Are you ready for this?
All right.
Okay. Now, put yourself in this position. Imagine that you'd like to go and sample a Michelin starred restaurant.
Yes.
Okay, imagine you'd like to go to Hampton Manor.
Oh, I'd love to go to Hampton Manor.
Okay, you'd love to go to Hampton Manor, and you'd love to sample some of the very high-end cuisine at Hampton Manor with amazing wines and things like that. Okay, this is what you do. You wait until Thursday, because every Thursday there is a 5-course tasting menu for £45 a head.
Rob Palmer's Delights. Yes, I have seen that.
So if you want a £150 a head menu down to £45 a head menu, you go on a Thursday night. Basically, that is my top tip for wanting high-end food.
High-end Michelin heaven.
Yeah, again, and you can go to a fantastic environment, wined, dined for £45 a head. That is, that's 2 people in Wagamama, as far as I'm concerned. So you can get some amazing, and it's all right. It's the menu that they are using to develop their own menus. So you are a little bit of a tester. And they ask you what you think of it and things like that. But for £45, they can ask me any questions and I'll eat it for them.
You can't go wrong.
You cannot go wrong, can you, Hampton Manor?
No, we're very lucky in this area. We have 5 Michelin restaurants to choose from. And if you go further out in the field, Kenilworth, there's the Cross as well. So we're doing really, really well on the culinary cuisine front.
We are an amazing zone, aren't you? Yeah. And of course, it all began in that triangle, didn't it? And that's where everything's happening for us as well. The Balti triangles and different cuisines. And now like you say, we've got 5 Michelin star restaurants in our locale, and we're very lucky to have the different types of variations that we can choose.
So on that note, the end of the month or the next retreat, keep a lookout for all the stuff that we've been tweeting about, and hope we provide some inspiration. Delicious PR. So if we could follow you on your Twitter and Instagram at Delicious PR. There you go. So if you want to find out exactly where Anita is going this week, this month, and what's coming up into February,
The only thing that is on the top of my list for February is cutting down on the chocolate in February.
Why would you want to do that?
There's a whole sort of campaign, British Heart Foundation, suggesting that we can cut down on chocolate. So check that out online if you want to be part of raising some awareness and some money for the British Heart Foundation.
But don't you find that January you eat more chocolate because you've been given so many chocolate gifts for Christmas, and then 4 weeks later, in my house anyway.
Maybe that's why they chose February.
Maybe.
Yeah. If you do want to hear some more, we'll be adding to our podcasts as we go through the weeks, and especially moving into February and March, where there's a lot of things happening food-wise. There's a lot of things happening in our local area in terms of the street eats and who's coming in and who's moving into Solihull. You can definitely find out about Jamya.
Jamya, yeah.
Remind me, when's that on? 8 weeks time?
No, that'll be sooner. Yeah,
that'll be sooner.
Between 4 to 6 weeks.
That'll be ready to go.
Their doors will be open. Yes.
There you go. So that'll give you a Caribbean option here in central Solihull in Touchwood.
Ideal for popping in while you're shopping.
That's right. Just like you say, a quick bite, top of the escalator, turn right.
Tasty jerk chicken, can't wait.
Excellent stuff. What's coming up February, March for our next podcast?
Are we talking about all the cool places to go to Valentine's?
Yep.
High end to casual and some quirky things. So
Valentine's.
Something that won't break the budget, but just some cool things that you could do.
Put me down for that. So join us again for the next lot of podcasting and our featured content on food and drink. We'll have some guests in the studio for our next one, and maybe even some samples so that we can explain to you what's out there. But
I think that was a hint, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Thank you very much for joining me, Anita.
Thank you for having me.
You've been an absolute wonderful food and drink expert. Thanks for being here on Solihull Radio.
Solihull Radio.